I am Jay McInnes.
Okay. Welcome. What's up, guys, and welcome to this week's McInnes Marketing Minute. Today we are continuing our conversation on a few controversial points, and that is going to be what is going to happen to the Vancouver real estate market. Is that right, Jay?
What's going to happen? Is it going to stay flat, go up, go down, stay flat? What's going to happen? So we're going to go into why this has taken place, where we are today, and what direction from here is going to go.
So to understand or to know where you want to go, you need to understand where you have been.
Oh.
There's some fortune for you.
There you go, some wisdom.
So, fortune cookie 101. So in order to get to where we are today, there's been a few changes which were implemented that were both political, federally wise, economic wise, which has all contributed to where we basically are in the market today, from obviously the peaks of 2006 and 2017 to seeing the market come down in the latter part of 2017-18 and then into 2019 where we are today. So again, we're not saying any allegiances or anything, we are just saying the facts, we are just saying implementations that came in that made a difference, not that whether we support them or whether we don't support them. But first of all, NDP, when they came into power, they made a few changes. So Jay, those changes being?
Okay, so the biggest things that we all know have taken place are the foreign buyers tax, level 1 and level 2. It's currently now been adjusted, brought in and then adjusted, and we're now at 20%, as most people know.
Yeah.
The vacancy tax and the speculation tax, which are two separate taxes again, so that's 3 new taxes.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
What they're calling school tax was introduced. Supposed to roll out in 2019. I don't actually believe it has been done yet, but I'm assuming for
there's a lot of kickback on it.
2020 assessments, this will be a part of at this stage, I'm guessing. And then the stress test, of course, which is brought in on the lending side of things. In a nutshell, you will have to pre-qualify for 2% higher than the rate you will actually achieve.
Yeah.
So a lot of pressure added to the market, and from those changes, we're seeing a lot of hesitation. And our belief is that the hesitation has been the most detrimental thing to the market adjustment,
Correct.
Not any one of these individual stress tests. Or
so just an FYI, the stress test was not brought in by the NDP. That was a Bank of Canada.
That is correct.
Just so you know. Yeah, you should have saying that now, huh? But yeah, so to Jay's point, it's not one of these things in particular because, I mean, the foreign buyers tax, there were a lot of foreign buyers obviously purchasing in Vancouver. However, if you're not a foreign buyer and you don't have an investment property or a vacant property, it's not really going to make that much of a difference to you. And we're at a really interesting point because sales are at a record low time right now. And I mean, May was a record low for 15 years. And ironically, the NDP came in to basically create an artificial imbalance in the market. So the market didn't take a natural turn. It was artificially adjusted by the implementation of these changes, which essentially assisted in bringing the market down to obviously where we are today. It
was the trigger that was, like you're saying, artificially put in that has made people kind of pull back, buyers obviously, and just really take a wait and see approach unless they need to make a decision. And that wait and see approach has now gone on for over a year, which has been why sales have been at lows. Yeah, so I mean the NDP overall, love them or hate them, their agenda is more to favour non-homeowners. The idea and part of their promise is to make housing more affordable in Vancouver, obviously, so more non-homeowners can then therefore become homeowners. Again, it's not right or wrong, that's just their agenda on what they went for. So we're in an ironic position because those prices have come down. So I mean, if you look at it as have they done a good job in bringing prices down? Yeah. Well, they haven't only slowed the market, they've turned it around.
Yeah, so obviously there's a bigger story behind that, but ironically, prices have corrected, they've come down. If you've been watching our last videos, you would have seen by how much. And interest rates remain at all-time lows. However,
They've also come down in the last year.
Yeah, however, we're at record low amounts of sales. So, I mean, you've brought prices down, which people have been waiting for in Vancouver for what feels like years now, yet we're still at record lows. So it's kind of an odd paradox to be in, really.
Yeah, and I, again, believe that that's signs of people simply sitting on the sidelines and watching and seeing where it goes. When the market's climbing so quickly, everyone's jumping to get in because they think it's going to be more expensive tomorrow. As you're saying, ironically, now that it's getting, let's say, cheaper by the day, people are not jumping in because they assume it's going to be cheaper tomorrow. So we don't know what direction this is going to go and for how long, obviously, at this stage. We can only analyze month by month as we do. And I think it'll be interesting to see where it goes, of course, but I think we're going to see this common sitting on the sidelines and watching and waiting until we see, let's say, a clear bottom and it come up a few points before people say, okay, now let's jump in. I feel like it's back on that upward trend.
Yeah, so the age-old question, when is bottom bottom, when is top top? Bottom bottom. I'm not North American, I do not say bottom. When is the bottom bottom, when is the top top? So there's a few interesting things coming up, I want to say globally and also nationally over, within the next couple of months or the next few months over the next few years, which are going to make quite a bit of a difference. So if you look at Canada as a whole, just not just BC, you'll see that obviously the housing market has gone through a bit of a tough time across the board. So it's not just Vancouver. If you look at that politically, a lot of the other provinces have dropped their current government and gone for conservative. A lot of places who weren't previously conservative at all have even gone conservative. And obviously with our federal election coming up at the end of October, it will be interesting to see if the country opts to go conservative.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Could make a sarcastic comment, but I won't. Conservatives traditionally favour homeowners, so that could see a bit of a change. Now, obviously, even if they get into power, it's going to take a bit of time before any changes even come into effect and are implemented, and there's a knock-on effect. It's not an instant change. Our provincial elections are, of course, not until 2021. So we still have a number of years left with our current government, so seeing a localised change is not likely to take place. However, fun fact for you, since for the 2018 to 2019 fiscal year, at the end of Q2, all combined, the government have lost out in about 400 million worth of property taxes.
Property transfer tax.
Yeah, a property transfer tax because of the downturn in the market. So is there going to be some incentives to recoup that lost funding? Of course, time will tell, and you would think so. And then on the other side, across the border, we've got the talk of recession.
What is it, 25 to 30% chance?
25 to 35% chance, as reported by US Business Insurance and the reinsurance market in the States, who obviously look after reinsurance of the financial sector. Yeah. Do you want to elaborate?
I just think it'll be interesting. We know what happened in 2008 when things hit the wall in the US, and next time it happens, it'll be interesting to see how insulated we actually are. Because last time, and people will remember, it was about a 9-month adjustment until it recorrected back and kept on its journey until fundamentally this past 2018.
Yeah. So I mean, we're not economists, so we're not going to put our spin on whether we think that's going to happen or not. But
it's just one of those things that's out there lingering that could adjust things. What do you think?
Yeah. So, and a lot of people are out there thinking maybe it's going to come, maybe the recession is going to come, so I'm going to wait.
And there are, I'm sure, again, those people on the sidelines. I know we talked to a lot of people before the NDP got in who were saying the very common statement, the last time the NDP got in, look what happened to the economy. I assume this is going to happen again. I'm going to sell now and watch it soften because that's what they do. That has, to this degree, come true, of course. So everyone can play the card that they want in trying to pick the tops and bottoms, but there's a few different cards on the table now. Are those cards going to get adjusted with new governments or not? Provincial or federal? That will be kind of the next big
So I mean,
question mark.
I guess the moral of the story here is whatever happens is going to take some time. So even if, let's say, the complete opposite happens and Conservatives get into power to what we're currently used to, then that's going to take some time for them to get into power, then to go through the implementation process for it to actually have an effect on our market. Kind of like Jay said, the recession as well. Let's say the recession does happen, and that 25 to 35% is a percentage on going into recession by the end of 2020. Okay. So by the time that actually happens and it has the impact on our economy, again, that's going to be time. And then, of course, we haven't got our provincial elections for another 3 years, so that obviously itself is in time. So we're seeing a bit more of a balance in terms of prices and in terms of sale, like length on market and sales right now. So we think it's personally going to hang on kind of like a steadier line. Prices may fluctuate a little bit like that. Just wanted to worm across the thing right there.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm out. And so it's going to stay relatively similar, relatively close in terms of pricing. There's not going to be any jumps up or not any jumps down, maybe some slight variations. We're not, in our opinion, going to see any drastic changes in the near foreseeable future. And that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, I think those are the biggest catalysts at this point that we can see making a change. Everyone can have their guess on what way that's going to go. And like Ben said, things are pretty much at buoyant now, it seems, but again, month to month we'll reassess on that. And yeah, love to know what you guys think. What do you think?